And without further ado, I want to introduce our next speaker, Miss Lindsey Pollnow. Now, Lindsey actually started last summer selling Cutco in May. She had a 10K fast start. She got promoted to key staff really quickly. She actually accomplished what's called K Club. K Club is where you sell 10 weeks in a row over $1,000 in sales. Anybody can have a big week selling Cutco, but a true champion is somebody who's consistent. And Lindsey went on to sell $43,000 over the summer. She was actually top 50 in our company as far as college students go. She got promoted to being an assistant manager in October, went through our leadership training program. She was one of the top assistant managers for Fire Number, which is like a recruiting statistic. And she got promoted to sales manager in February and just opened up an office. So, she had like 4 or 5 titles just in the last year. When we talk about advancement, I don't know that there's anyone better. Career sales, she sold almost $50,000 worth of Cutco. And one of her proudest accomplishments was becoming an assistant manager and really helping really change the dynamic of the St. Louis office. Lindsey, by the way, just graduated from college from SLU, and we're really excited. She's going to be talking to you guys about how to phone like a champion. Last year, Lindsey sold over $20,000 for a push, this push coming up that we're going to be talking about. And she's going to give you guys the goods. So I hope you're ready, got your pens ready, got refreshed from dinner. Take it away, Lindsey.
Thank you, buddy. Well, hello, everyone. I am so excited to be here. SC1 was my first conference last summer, and it made a huge impact on my summer and the rest of my time here. So I am super excited for you all. So I'm going to share my screen. So I am here to talk to you about phoning like a champion. So I have 3 main points for you all. Why is it important to phone? Second, how to show up for a phone jam. Third, objections. And then I'm going to end with some quick tips. So first off, why it's important to phone. Phoning equals money. Your phone here, this phone, is money. Phoning is the vehicle to demos being completed, which equals money. In order to book demos, you have to phone. I remember when I was new, just a year ago, I was a new rep and I was scared to phone. I was worried that I would be rejected or would fail somehow, some way. And I just viewed it as a task. And this made me not want to phone. But I want to reframe your mindset for you all. So we're going to phone. You need to take action. Don't worry about all the negativity. Take action by phoning. Keep a positive mindset. When you're going to make calls and book demos, you will handle every objection or every answer as they go. So don't worry about it. Just take action by phoning. The worst thing that can happen is you'll be told no, and it won't be the first time you'll be told no, and you'll be told no for the rest of your life. So you might as well ask, because that'll get you an answer. And if they say no, they are probably more so a closed-minded person, and you wouldn't want to even show them Cutco anyways. Also, a reminder here, if you do not call someone on your list, someone else will. And believe me, it happened to me multiple times last summer. So now stats-wise, most of you are probably newer. And for those of you that are a little bit older, you all are still probably calling people you know or you somewhat know. So you will most likely get a yes. In the past week, for me personally, I have received 3 calls from friends who were my friends in college and high school, who were calling to show me their financial planning presentation or their presentation for their work because they didn't make phone calls. And I said yes. I said, yes, I'm nice. I was interested and I'll learn. I'll give them credit. So plan on the following. 10 calls equals 1 demo. 10 demos a week for 10 weeks of the summer equals 100 demos. 100 demos equals 20,000 in sales. 20,000 in sales equals $5,000 in income. $5,000 in income equals 1,000 calls this summer. Every call you earn will get you like $5 worst case scenario. I made a total of 3,838 calls as a sales rep and as an AM through December, and I can tell you the math does add up. The final reason why it's important to phone is it is a skill to get that it'll use it an opportunity to improve and you will use for the rest of your life. To have the skill to know how to call someone, talk to someone, handle rejections over phone will benefit you tremendously in anything you decide to do in your future. Also, if you're interested in advancement opportunities within our company, making a lot of phone calls puts you in a good position for that. And then for those of you that are interested in interning or getting a job at your dream company, companies love to see that you're making calls and can talk to people over the phone. So it is important to phone so you book demos so you can make money. Come in with a positive attitude, positive mindset, and develop a skill which will benefit you now and in the future. My second tip for you all is how to show up to phoning. When showing up to phone, you want to come in well prepared. You want to have all your names uploaded in the Vector Impact app before you plan on phoning. Then have your top 30 to 50 up on the Vector Impact app. Have your chicken list out. You want to call your chicken list before you call your recommendations. Your chicken lists are more likely to say yes. And again, here, if you wait to call someone on your chicken list, someone else will, and it will be painful. It's still painful for me now. It happened to me like 5, 6, 7 times. So do not do that. And then going on to your recommendations. For your recommendations, you want to have all your heads up text sent to recommendations before you start phoning, not like 5 minutes before, like honestly a day before. So that way, once you start phoning, the person knows you'll be reaching out. So in order to show up well, you also want to have a goal set in mind and why you want it. This will be your motivation. You cannot go into phoning without a plan or a purpose in mind. So set a goal, write it down, how many calls you're committed to making, how many demos you want to book. Tell your manager and then phone until you hit it. Lastly, you want a few things in front of you. You want to have your phone script out. It's on page 9. You want to have your schedule out, whether this is your planner, Google spreadsheet, or your calendar. You want this out so you know when to ask Mrs. Jones for demo times. And lastly, you want to have your objection sheet out. So to show up well, you want to have everything in the Vector Impact app before you start phoning, have your chicken list, then have your recommendations out, set your goal, and have your phone script, your schedule, and your objection sheet out. And then my third point for you all is objections. First thing about objections, have page 28 printed out. Print it out and memorize it. You want to have the objection sheet out in front of you every time you phone. Memorizing it makes it just so much easier when you're phoning. Like I said, I've made over 3,000 phone calls and I've always had the objection sheet out in front of me. And I still would today if I was making phone calls tonight. If a customer says they're busy, I totally understand, Mrs. Jones. I am super busy too. Mrs. Jones, can you squeeze me in for this time or this time? Or, great, Mrs. Jones, we'll be on and off Zoom right away. If a customer says they won't buy anything, great, Mrs. Jones, I get credit just to show it. So does this time or this time work for you? I'm not interested in any knives. Great, Mrs. Jones, this will go super quickly. Or, no problem, you don't have to be interested. I just get credit to show. So memorize your objections. It gets easier when you're making phone calls to book demos. And then lastly, I have a few quick tips for you all. First off, smile while you dial. You want to smile while you're making phone calls. You sound a lot more excited and upbeat. You don't want to be like, hi, Mrs. Jones. You want to smile and be like, hi, Mrs. Jones. You want them to be excited when they pick up the phone. You also want to build rapport. Ask them about their summer plans, weekend plans, how they are. You don't want to just go straight into the phone script. You want to show that you're interested. Make them laugh twice. This will help set yourself up well when you go to do demos. Also, phone in waves. Phone in the morning, Champions Club, that's when I phoned a lot. Make 5 calls before, 5 calls after every single demo. This was the key to my success for last summer and is something that I strongly encourage for all of you to do. Phone in the evening during team meetings and office phone jams. You can go ahead and partner with your manager to make a phoning schedule if need be. Also, double tap. If you don't get a call when someone calls, call them right back. Double tap. Because when you get 2 calls at the same time, someone's going to be like, oh, I should probably call this person back. And if they call later on, they'll be like, okay, they called me twice. I should probably answer now. So double tap. And then lastly, firm up on the phone. Have them write it down. Double check to make sure it works. Mrs. Jones, I know you are super busy, and I am too. Are you sure this time works for you? And then thank them for their time and how much it means to you. Then once you're off the phone, send an email with the Zoom link to add to their Google Calendar. Also add a notification so they get a notification as soon as you send it. And then for me, I would let them know a day before as a reminder, and then a few hours before, and then 30 minutes before, just so Mrs. Jones sees it and there isn't, oh, I forgot my schedule. So those are some quick tips for you all. So in summary, it's very important to phone. It's a way that you can make money and develop your skills that you'll use for the rest of your life. Show up well with your names and numbers already in. Have a plan when you're phoning. Have page 9 of your phone script out and memorize the objection sheet, which is page 28. Let's go crush the phones. Thank you so much for your time, everyone. Enjoy the rest of SC1.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lindsey. That was awesome. And I got some really good nuggets from that. One of them, and I, as an MC, I like to take notes and then just say, oh, that was really good. Oh, that was really good. Oh, that was really good. I want to make sure, I drive that point home. And one thing I really love that she said, if you don't call them, somebody else will. I can't even tell you how many times that's happened. Another thing that I love is get used to the word no. I mean, that's kind of a really interesting thought, right? I remember when I was doing phone jams as a rep, and this is specifically during like pushes. This is when I was an assistant manager. This is when I was a key staff member. And I feel like I had tough skin. And one thing that I used to do was I'd used to phone until I got 10 no's. Okay. I would phone until 10 people said no to me. And the thing about that is it actually doesn't happen that often. Does that make sense? Like no is this kind of built up thing we have in our mind. And it's like this fear, but when we actually follow the script and we show up with a smile, more often than not, it doesn't happen. I want you to, instead of setting a goal for how many demos you want to book next time, set a goal for how many no's you want to get. And I assure you, you'll book more demos than you expect, right? 100 demos equals $5,000 in income. I mean, that you cannot break that number down any more like exact. And that is a true stat. And if you do that, you're going to have the most epic summer ever. Okay. And then one last thing I will say is whenever you get the opportunity to be in an environment where you're making calls, take full advantage of it, right? Whenever you get the opportunity to be competitive, be competitive. I know some of you guys like played sports and you're just naturally competitive. Like be competitive when you can be competitive. So like tonight we've got a contest. We're going to give you a lot of reasons. I know the divisions will probably do separate contests and whatnot. If you're part of my division, I love contests. That's like my thing, right? And so, of course, we're going to have a contest. And so take advantage of that. Let that extra motivation fuel you. What I used to do also is I'd make side bets with other people on the team. I'd be like, hey, dude, I'm going to bet you $20 I'll make more calls than you in this session, right? When you do that, what that does is it booby traps you for success. So whatever you can do to booby trap yourself for success is like a win. Those of you guys who are doing like watch parties right now and you have, multiple people in the office, take full advantage of that, right? Take full advantage of that and use the motivation and feed off of other people's energy. And there's nothing more fun than an in-office live phone jam. Those of you guys who are separate, when you get into your Zoom, unmute yourself, let people see your energy and your vibe. And I promise you're going to get better results. Okay. So those are just a couple, tips. And thank you, Lindsey. That was a phenomenal message.